So, we're sitting comfortably. We've covered that. The harp is sitting comfortably on us, on our lap or our stool or bench, whatever. We've got that covered. Now the next thing we need to do is put our hands on the harp. The usual description of how to hold a hand at the wire-strung harp is to pretend you're holding a cup. And what's important about this instruction, it defines the position of the thumb relative to the fingers. You don't want this, you don't want this, you want this. The thumb and the fingers, it's the opposable thumb. That's a very comfortable way to put your fingers on the harp. Now, if you find at some point in all of this working with putting your hands on the harp that it's not working, that for some reason you're not comfortable, try changing the position of the harp. Raise it a little bit, lower it a little bit, maybe try a different chair. It may require you to do a little experimentation. We've got the body, we've got the harp, and now we've got the hands. We've got 3 factors to think about and to consider. Now, as I place my fingers on my harp, I realize that I have hands that are not a flat plane of fingernails going against a flat plane of harp strings. How can I deal with this? How can I get a good tone consistently with each finger and the thumb, which attaches to the fingers differently and is going to hit the strings differently? And what I found works is to shape the fingernails. Okay, you see how my thumbnail is shaped? It's not, the point's not dead center. It's kind of off to the side a little bit. Can you see that? Okay, when I bring my thumbnail to my harp strings, I bring it, now you're going to have to refocus again. Can I come back into focus? I bring it like this. Here's my hand position. Now you see why I have that point off center. That's the way my thumb hits the string. And so I've shaped my thumbnail, my plectrum, my pick. I've shaped a point to it so that it hits the string and gives me this beautiful crystal sound. Now, of course, once I'm holding the harp my usual way and not for the camera anymore, you'll see that each one of my fingers is going to require this point to be at a different place. Now, for my index finger, point dead center works beautifully. For my other fingers, I had to do some experimentation to find where that point should best be on my nail to give me a nice consistent sound. So no matter what finger I hit that string with, I'm getting a nice consistent sound. There's no scraping sound. A lot of harpists will have trouble with that, especially with the thumb, because of the shape of that thumb as it slides off the string. You don't want it to slide off a string. You want it to come off at a point and give yourself a nice, crisp sound. Okay, while we pause there for a second, I reshaped my thumbnail to your typical center point thumbnail. This is what most people shave their thumbnails to look like, I think. I don't know. But you see what I've done is I've given it a more typical shape. You may have noticed in the previous shot how long my thumbnail was. I grew it long for you on purpose so I could do this demonstration and still have nail left. Now, if I take this to the harp, I don't know if you're going to be able to hear the difference on the video. But as I pull my thumbnail off the harp now, I'm pulling it off exactly the same way I did before, but it's not as crystal clear a sound. Do you hear a difference between this and this? There's like a little tinniness to it. It's because I don't have that point. The point of my pick, the point of my plectrum is no longer pointing at the string. And so I'm getting a weaker sound. Now I could try moving the harp up or down until I get the harp to a point, adjusting the harp, adjusting my body to get to a point where that point does hit. But then look at what I've compromised. I've given up my comfortable seating position. I've given up the nice comfortable way of holding my harp. all because I'm afraid to shape my thumbnail. I think I'll shape it back. Have my thumbnail back to the way I like it. Now, everybody's hands are different and people are holding their different harps differently. Your shaped nail may not be optimally this, it may be something else. But if this gives you any guidance, experiment again, try different things, try shaping your nail one way or another. I find that one thing I did that seemed to help me find the place to put my points was to carefully watch where my finger connected and left the string. And there was a point at which I even would put a little mark with a Sharpie and then shape the point to that spot to try to get that point just right. There are references in the literature, in bunting, in other writings that refer to harp players playing with nails sharpened, nails pointed, nails crooked. And for a while, I think some of us thought that this was just the way their nails wore out. I broke my nail one night when I was practicing. I taken a study break, took the trash out, and broke a nail in the process. I just broke it off crooked. I didn't completely break the nail off. And it was just by a silly accident. I just simply smoothed the nail out because I didn't want to stop practicing. I sat down to play, and all of a sudden this one finger was just giving me the most beautiful tone in comparison to everything else. And I stopped, and I knew the only thing I had changed was the shape of my fingernail. I spent the rest of my practice session that night experimenting with shaping my nails. It seems to work. And so I recommend it to you, especially if you're a nail player. Okay.